we have a president who's out campaigning for crooked Hillary Clinton, and he should be home working on ISIS, where the threat is getting worse and worse. He should be working on trade. He should be working on the borders. People are flowing into our country from lots of places. But from Syria, no more. No more. Okay, they're not coming. No more.
All right, that was Donald Trump earlier tonight at a rally in North Carolina. Joining us now, Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump. Good to see you, sir. How are you? Appreciate you being here. At least, you know, to operate Air Force One for an hour, Hillary and Obama out there today, it's $206,000 an hour, and that doesn't include all the
Secret Service, local police, everything else.
Everything else that is associated with it. So that's 5 hours, $1 million bucks. Taxpayers, they pay for it. Shouldn't the campaign pay for that?
There's no question about it. But it's not surprising, right? I mean, Hillary, under the State Department, she lost $6 billion, meaning it went missing. It disappeared into midair. I mean, think about the good that kind of money could have done for America, right? I mean, think about the good.
Yeah, you do a lot of philanthropy. You know these. You know, think about, all right, so he's getting, as the chancellor of this, you know, Laureate University, he's getting $16.5 million over a couple-year period of time. And the State Department, while she's the Secretary of State, gives that university system $55 million. Isn't that called a kickback?
Yeah, by the way, that's one small example, right? I mean, between 2007 and 2014, we've talked about this a million times, she made $141 million. She was Secretary of State at the time. I mean, she was a government employee who made $141 million. I mean, when is it said that you can have another job while being a government employee, especially Secretary of State? I mean, this is somebody who's supposed to be out there defending U.S. interests around the world. I mean, it is truly tragic. It is truly, truly sad.
I think the conflict of interest is so great, and for a week I kept putting up on the screen the money she would take from countries that treat women, gays, lesbians, Christians, and Jews horribly. And she took all this money. How could she possibly say no to them? They're buying her influence.
Yeah, that's right. Especially a Secretary of State, right? Saudi Arabia was one of them. They gave her $25 million, and you know how they treat women there.
And for the library.
I mean, it's really, really tragic. I mean, it's really, really tragic. It is such a shame. I mean, it's almost like our government has become third world. This is not how the United States should.
Well said. This is something I would expect. James Comey today is something I would think I would see in Cuba or Venezuela. She lied last week. We learned about, she told us that it was a YouTube video, but she told her daughter and the Libyan president and the Egyptian prime minister that it was a YouTube video. Well, she said she never sent or received classified information. Lie, false. She deleted 30-some-odd thousand emails. They weren't about yoga, a wedding, and a funeral, because some of those were classified. We had top secret classified information. She had multiple devices, multiple servers, not the one she claimed, and she didn't even turn over, you know, all her servers. She's turned over a server.
Under oath of perjury, she also said that she turned in all her emails, and they weren't. I mean, even as of last week. And what happened today is another, you know, very, very sad thing. I mean, I think it really kind of almost undermines, you know, what people expect from the FBI. I mean, here Comey came out and said that what she did was reckless. It was totally careless. It puts our national security in jeopardy. It compromised our assets overseas, but yet nothing. I mean, here you go on your way, and it's very sad. And then she's talking about how, you know, Loretta Lynch would absolutely have a job in her administration, and I'm sure Comey would as well. And I mean, it really is a pay-to-play system within government. I mean, it's you protect me, I protect you. You know, we'll all go on to next administrations. You'll keep your job. I'll make sure to protect you. And I mean, what happened with Bill and Loretta Lynch this weekend was tragic.
Well,
I mean,
let's go back to that, because interestingly, so Bill and Loretta Lynch meet on the plane. Now, the New York Times, interestingly, they didn't even report on it the next day, but all right, so that meeting happens. She gets the convenience of a Saturday 3.5-hour session with the FBI. I don't know how many other people would be accommodated that way. Then Comey comes out, and then she's on Air Force One, and we're paying for it with Barack Obama campaigning for her today.
Well, all while insulting our intelligence and saying that, you know, two people met in an airport and went onto each other's private planes to talk about grandkids for half an hour. I mean, listen, we're all big boys and girls. I mean, that's not what you do. You don't speak about grandkids for half an hour, and you don't go on people's private planes and wait for people for long periods of time to talk about grandchildren when your wife is under federal investigation. This is ultimately one of the people that's going to determine the outcome. So, I mean,
that is the person. That's it.
It's also really, I mean, it's questioning our intelligence as a nation. But, I mean, this is just repetitive, whether it be the $141 million she made as Secretary of State, whether it be statements like that. I mean, it really questions the intelligence of the American people. I think people are quite frankly, fed up with this nonsense.
You know, but it does feed into the narrative. Your dad is really good at branding people, and we saw that in the primaries. But Crooked Hillary, the last 2 weeks, Benghazi, the Benghazi report, then, of course, today. I mean, I watched the first 15 minutes of Comey, and I said, wow, he's going to do it.
He's going to do it, yeah.
And then at the end, it was the however.
Yeah.
Even though other people have done far less and gotten severe penalties. Isn't it better in the end for your dad, if you really think about it, that she survive as a weak candidate that people do not trust, do not believe is honest, and she be the candidate?
You know what, honestly, it's selfish thinking. I mean, to think that way is selfish, right? That's saying, okay, let's take all the rules, let's take the Constitution of the United States, let's take all the laws, let's shred it.
I'm not saying it's...
Right? I mean, it's
sad.
Yeah, listen, somebody could make that argument, and Hillary has probably more baggage than any politician out there. She's arguably the most corrupt politician that we've ever seen in this country, right? I mean, there's no question about it. It's situation after situation after situation. She's always on the losing end of it. But at the same time, I mean, this country has to have a system of laws. You saw what happened to General Petraeus. You saw what happened to so many others who did small fractions. Here, she risked people's lives. She was cavalier about it. She knew exactly what she was doing. She deleted emails under perjury.
She lied repeatedly.
Over and over. And by the way, it cost people their lives in Benghazi, and it cost this nation trillions and trillions of dollars. And every week now we have another terrorist attack, whether it's Orlando, whether it's Turkey, whether it's, you know, San Bernardino, or, I mean, the list goes on and on.
The saddest thing on that was...
It's only getting worse, Sean. It's only getting worse.
We had men and women in military that were told to change their clothes 4 times out of uniform.
As opposed to going and getting people who were getting shot at.
And they never sent anybody to help these Americans under attack. So it's unbelievable.
I mean, they're not helping. They're not helping the soldiers there. I mean, they're making career decisions. They're not making patriotic decisions. They're not making America first decisions. They're making career decisions there. And
last question.
It's very sad.
How soon can we expect a VP choice?
Hopefully fairly soon. Hopefully in the next couple.
Next week?
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, yeah. He's really putting a tremendous amount of...
Before the convention, maybe?
Time and attention. Listen, time will tell. Time will tell, but...
You're not giving me anything on this, are you?
Yeah, he's putting a lot of work into it. I mean, this is arguably the most important decision that any candidate has to make, and he's taking it incredibly seriously. So it's going to be a great person. I think you're going to be proud.
Eric, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks.